I'm on my own, setting up, yeah. All right. Okay, getting ready to start our meeting with Samantha Tarr. We have Samantha Tarr tonight, who will be talking about all things innovation in the beauty world. But me being the early bird that I am, just making sure I've done all that I need to do. You get a little glimpse of behind the scenes Wagwan. We do that every week. You get a glimpse of behind the scenes Wagwan, us setting up, having a little chit chat. Yeah. Everybody there. Everybody there. No one there. In that case, I'm going to go off camera and go mute for a while until them check in. Oh, hello. I'm sorry, I fell asleep. Lovely, that's fine. I know. The sun drunk for some of the time. I'm sorry, say that again? So the sun, it's been hot sunshine, it would drunk. Oh, yeah, that's very kind of you to make excuses for me. Oh, yes, why not? Hello, Samantha.
Hi, ladies.
Hello. Let me just see this.
Oh, there's people coming in. I'm host.
Yeah, I just made you a host now. So that you have free.
Do you know, I don't know if you use Zoom much, but what I do is when I go on, if you click on participants and go over to more, somewhere along that, somewhere there's an enable or waiting room. And whatever I do, I click on it. When I first join Zoom, click on it, and then you don't have to keep letting people in. They just come in on their own.
Okay. Mine doesn't have that. Mine is coming up. It just says invite and copy invite link. It doesn't have anything else on it just now.
No, just when you log into a Zoom. I don't know where mine is because I don't know actually.
Was it from before I come in the meeting?
No, when you're in the meeting now, if you click on.
I see Jennifer's in, so I'm going to admit the next person.
Yeah, if you've got somebody doing that, that's fine. It's just something I always do, so I don't have to keep letting people in.
Yeah, because when I click on that participant, it's just only got the invite or copy link as well. Yeah. So maybe it's something I've done in the preliminary settings.
Yeah, I don't know. Honestly, you think you get it right, and then they change it all. Yeah, and then you're like that, right? Okay.
We're still learning. We'll get there in the end. And it's 6:59. Wonderful. Oh. Live stream. It's 1 minute to 7. If that's what you're looking at.
I'm impressed that you live stream it. So you live stream it into YouTube.
Yeah. But I'm not actually seeing how it looks. I don't know what she's doing. So I've got my. Oh, that's my alarm. I do apologize. So I've got my tablet today, so I can actually see what happens over there when I'm doing that. Okay. Tell me anything? Does it tell me anything? It's preparing. It's setting up.
Sugar, first
Shall
say
we?
welcome.
So let me go there a minute.
Hello.
Hi. We're still
Hi.
playing around. How you doing? Thank you for
I'm waiting for
joining
Sugar to tell me welcome.
us.
Oh, is it me you're waiting for?
Yes, I didn't forget today.
Oh,
Hello.
hello, hello. Nice to see you. That's my kiddie over in America.
Is it?
Okay. Hello and welcome. Thank you all for being on time. My name is Yasmin Euphemia, aka Sugar, and I'm here today with.
This is Beverly, your UK fluffy chick, and together we are the founder sisters of Supporter Sis-Star Network, and we've gone into this facet of the network, doing these live chats with amazing people who are sharing their inspiration to innovation stories, hoping to spark some inspiration in your own life, or maybe take some nuggets from what they're sharing with you. Um, as always, we ask everyone to keep mute unless you're asking a question. And what else again? We are live streaming on YouTube, I think. But anyway, don't worry about that. So
It is. It did say it was.
Oh,
oh, is it
I
okay?
can't actually see it, but we'll trust that it is because you've been so good with YouTube.
Yeah. But and what else again? We do have a Q&A section, so it's not just sitting and watching us all yap yap and you don't have a opportunity to say anything. But I think I will do the hand. I didn't want to keep it too formal, but I think I will do the hands up option, because what I've been finding is people jumping at the same time, and because sometimes on the Zoom there's a bit of a delay, so we don't know when someone's talking and people are talking over each other. So I think it's best to do a hands up and fire your questions, and you can hands up and fire a question at any time. It's not like you have to wait till a specific time. What else again? Is there anything I've forgotten, Sugar, to
Well, in theory, there's going to be a link for you to give feedback. And apart from that, I think that's it. I think you've covered everything else that we need to do. Maybe we should introduce our
yes?
Samantha.
Yeah, we are. I just wanted to get all those things out of the way, and then we just focus straight Samantha. And we have Samantha Tarr with us, and I'll let Samantha elaborate on who she is and has her introduction. So go for it, Samantha.
Thank you, ladies. And I'm so excited to join you. And I feel very privileged, I do have to say, to be invited to speak on these. I've been joining every week since, and having to follow Chanel. Was it Chanel, wasn't it, last week?
Oh,
Is it
Janelle,
Chanel?
Janelle.
Janelle, that was it. I was like that. Oh, what an amazing lady. So that's like that. I'm following her next week. That's not fair. But anyway, so I'm Sam. You can call me Sam. I've been in the beauty industry for over 35 years. I connected with Yasmin, I don't even know how long ago, 6, 7 years ago, maybe, through LinkedIn. Yasmin is an amazing beauty professional. She's we've probably had very similar careers in what we've done, so we just hit it off straight away. We've been really good friends ever since. And actually, she's written a book, all these amazing things she has done. So it has been a real privilege to be able to come on and share this journey with you ladies. So as soon as she said you guys were starting this group, my little branding, just before I go into anything, because my initial is S-Tar, my whole life, everything's been star. So everything's been, so when Yasmin said, oh, we're starting the thing, it's support a sister, like as in the how you write it. I was like, oh, that is so me. So it's been a privilege from the beginning. I feel like I've been a founding member because of
Definitely.
the star
Absolutely.
thing anyway. So, which does lead on to what I've done and what I've been doing on social media and how I branded my group with Let Your Inner Star Shine. So it has been a very big thing in my life, all about the stars, really. So I have, well, I think I qualified in 1989. So I went to college 86 to 89. Absolutely loved it. Prior to that, and I'm guessing there's probably people here that can probably relate. Back in the 80s, the career paths aren't quite like the opportunities they have now. And you see all the different things they're doing at school and the activities and the career paths they have. It just wasn't like that where I grew up, and I grew up in a lovely area, but you either, not that many people went to university. And I just remember literally my mum had this conversation with me, you know, it was either going to do childcare or it was going to do beauty. And she went, you'll probably have your own children. Why don't you go and do beauty? I was like that. Okay. But just before that, to really sort of cement where my career probably has grown from is I am very dark haired. I was a very hairy person. In my late teens, I had a lot of hair around my upper lip, and I remember being 16 going to the school disco and some lovely, not lovely boy saying, oh, you've got a mustache, and I was like, devastated, obviously. And I said to my mum about it. And back then, before I went to college, so I was probably 15, I went and had some hair removal treatment at called electrolysis at a salon in Bournemouth where my grandparents lived. So I was in Derbyshire, which is up near Sheffield, and we'd gone down on holiday. My mum said, let's go into this clinic. And you know what? It was the best thing I could have done. So when she said, why don't you go to college to do beauty? All I thought was, do you know what? That thing that I had on my face helped my hair. Why not? And that literally, honestly, I've been 35 years in this business. And that probably is the one thing that made me think, yep, I'll go and do that. Um, and I've had the most amazing career. I am very lucky. Hair removal, electrolysis, laser hair removal, waxing has been probably my biggest thing. I am quite a hair geek about excess hair growing, why we get it, how we can remove it, how we can treat it, how you can get results, how, can you get results, can't you get results, all those kind of things. Alongside the skincare. So I did go, I went to college, loved it. School, senior school, didn't love it quite so much. It wasn't okay. It was just the whole friendship group thing. Went to college, made up for it. Had a great time. And then I literally just went into industry and literally it was electrolysis, hair removal. Straight away, it was straight in. And I still remember my first client because it's a bit scary. But actually, that has really been the founding sort of foundations of my career, really. And I still remember what it feels like to have it done. So I've always had that empathy that, oh my goodness, it works. You can get the results. It's going to take this. And I've probably treated hundreds and hundreds of ladies over the years that, come in and they're like that. They don't want to show, whatever it is that's growing. And by the time they're coming towards the end of their treatments, I can't even remember. I've not even looked in the mirror. I've not felt it. It's just I've loved it, but it was quite, a treatment that actually you could only really do on the face. And then when laser hair removal came out 25 years ago, I was like, I have to do this. I seriously needed it. Seriously. I think the expression was a hairy Mary years ago, and that was me,
Okay,
and
I
it
was
was,
wondering what that hand movement was.
yeah, the hairy Mary,
Seriously.
or, like, and hair management is tough, it is really tough. If you've got somebody who's got a lot of hair management, and honestly, we all have a little bit of a joke about it over the years, but I have seen girls, going back before laser came out with full chest hair,
Oh,
and I'm like, should they be going? No, they shouldn't be have to deal with all this. There was no support from the NHS. It was expensive treatments,
yeah,
and I've done clients on their leg hair, just their leg hair, that you couldn't even see their skin through the volume of hair they
Yeah,
had.
been there.
Yeah, and you know what? Being able to offer a treatment that could change that, wouldn't particularly necessarily get rid of all of it, but be able to change that so they could manage it themselves. I was like, wow, I'm in such a privileged position, and I became a real hair geek. I literally I was like, well, I called myself a hair geek because I kind of got it, I'd had it, I knew what it was like, and I was treating it. So it's still now, 35 years on, a real big passion of mine, to be
Yeah.
able to help people, help women like that, really, because I didn't feel that they ever should have to go like through that. And I knew as soon as like a young girl, 18-year-old walked in, they'd be like this, they'd have a scarf around. I knew what they were coming in for. So it has been a real privilege to be able to help people like that. Um, and amongst all the other things that we do as a beauty therapist, as Yasmin knows, we've had lots of conversations. We've had a very parallel sort of career like that. Um,
Definitely.
and I would say that is still the one thing that I absolutely, and I always say through all the economic differences, the 2008 financial crisis, COVID, we're probably going to have more, who knows? Hair removal is the one thing that women will always find the money to have done. And I say it's been the backbone of my business, but probably the heart-led part of my business that I just can't see me ever not doing it. I've got loads of clients. They're like, "Oh, don't! I'll be devastated if you say you're retiring." I'm like, "Don't worry, I'll be here." You know.
because I remember we spoke when we spoke because we did, we had meetings before and
Yeah,
so I'm just making people aware we did have videos before and interviews before. So when we spoke to you the last time, I remember you said at the time you had a salon and you were reducing
yeah,
how much time you was gonna spend in the
yeah.
salon. That at that time that was your future plans to reduce
Y-
your
Oh,
time in
yeah.
the salon. So have you
And that,
reduced your time in the
yeah, I
salon?
did. And I did follow that plan. So prior up to there, once I'd introduced laser, I think my plan really was once I had my daughter, who's now 14. I can't even remember what year we did that actually, but she's 14 now. And actually, I've started lasering her.
That
I
would
have
have
to
been
admit, uh, y-
2022, I think.
was
Yeah,
it?
4 years
Yeah, so
ago.
4 years ago.
Mm.
When I had my daughter, I'd been like in the industry for a very like decades, couple of decades already. And it is amazing and I loved it, but it's really hard work as well. It's really long days, it's really tiring, more tiring than you think. You just think you're pampering people, but there's so much more behind it. They become your friends, you go through journeys with them. And if you're seeing 15 clients a day, that's 15 conversations and sometimes the same conversations, which you love. And I always made it for me, if you're having a bad day, when you're in work, it's your grounding day. It kind of gets you out of that bad day mode, and I have loved it. But when my daughter was 14, I just thought I was just going to just sort of be in the salon, but I'd reduced all my hours down. But I kind of realized that actually that's not going to pay me what I haven't got, a pension. That's not really going to pay me. I'm quite tied to what I was doing. But I've always had inside of me, I know I meant for more as well, and I've always been about the science, the advancement. I love new things. I always knew my clients always wanted to know what the latest treatment was. How could I get this better? And myself, I've always had, I know it doesn't look like it, but my professor hair, it takes me a lot. And I've always been if there's something I can do to make my hair easier or my skin easier, I've always been intrigued by it, like the laser hair removal, but not in a way that I wanted to go down. And there's nothing wrong with this. If it's for you, it's just not for me. And I do talk about it quite a lot, quite openly, is the injectables that, we have quite a lot these days. It's never been my thing. I love taking care of my skin, my hair, but I don't want to pump anything in there
or into our clients either.
Yeah, and it just wasn't for me at all. However, I knew you could still get great results with other things, and that was the bit that intrigued me. Just to put a little bit of a side thing in there, in my late 20s, I kind of went down a bit of a sports route as well. So I actually did karate for 5 years competitively. So I got actually, it's a bit of a long story, which I won't go into, but I did actually get a place on the England squad. So I actually trained with the England squad for a year nearly. It was an experience. It was probably the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. So there was me at the weekends doing my stuff, training really hard, getting black eyes and bruises and all of this. And then back on a Tuesday in my beauty job with my black eyes, and my clients didn't batter an eyelid, honestly.
As long as you turned up, that's all that mattered.
I know, honestly. One lady once, she never even knew I did karate. This was so funny. And I'd known her for years. And when I stopped doing it, I kind of said, oh, I've stopped doing the karate. She went, I didn't know you actually did that, but I did wonder why you always had bruises.
Yeah, that taboo. They don't want to say anything.
She must have thought I was a battered housewife. I'm like, they're all professional bruises. But, it was, the difference between the two was quite big. But it really, really set me on my path that I'm still on now as a person with my daily habits. And I think that's the thing that it taught me is daily habits. They always say sport is about motivation and discipline. And it is all of that. But actually, it's about forming the daily habits. And I think that's the thing that's still with me now. I still love going out for my walk. If you follow me on social media, that's part of what I love. I like to look after myself. I do have treats and naughties, by the way, and I always say it's just about putting enough of the good stuff in, and actually, I think for everybody in the last 10 years, probably what we've seen on social media, it's not been easy for anybody when we're watching other people and we think we should be doing that and should be doing this, and to have a great day or a great habit or a great life, you need a list of 10 things before, you've gone out the door in the day. Realistically, no, that's just like pressure. That's just layering on pressure after pressure. And we honestly shouldn't be living like that. And I do feel we have come now into a bit of an era where we are now living in I need to simplify this. Because all of us had to get used to the whole digital era, you
Yeah.
know, and they say we have advanced 200 years in 20 years, you know, which is
Okay.
massive, isn't it? You know, for us to
Definitely.
keep up. And I liken that to the beauty and wellness industry, which I still have a huge passion for, because it's the advancement of science and the results we can actually get now for, you know, how we feel on the outside, but also the inside. We understand a lot more about it all. That absolutely keeps my passion. And that's where the innovation comes in. That keeps me inspired, wants to me to keep going. But actually, it is a lot to keep up with. And then to know, like, I feel the last 6 months, I've literally been in paralysis because it's moved so quickly in 6 months. One minute you think, oh, yes, I need to just be doing this now. And then before you know it, that's
Yes.
irrelevant. They're on to the next thing. And I've
Mm-hmm,
kind of
mm-hmm.
gone, I don't think my brain can work at that pace, you know? So it is learning what works for you. How can I simplify that but still get the benefits? It's huge. You know, it still blows my mind all the time, you know, and um it's just really working out what is good for you and your sort of brain to be able to focus on.
So let me
Okay.
ask you this. Let me ask you this. So if you didn't have your hair on lip situation and your mum suggesting you
Yeah.
go and have the treatment done, do you think you would have went into beauty?
I actually don't think I would have, because I don't think I would have known what she was talking about. I
Yeah.
wouldn't have no idea what it was about,
Yeah.
because there
I'm
was
in the
literally
same.
hardly any salons anywhere. You
Mhm.
know, there was no salons. You were lucky if you had one salon in a town, let alone 20 in a town now. You know, which is great and I love it. I think it's amazing. Everybody has their dream and they're all having the opportunity to do all that. But I think probably for me and Yasmin, it was never a regular treat, you know, apart from the hair removal, everything else was a, if I'm going on holiday, if I'm having a treat, it was never a, I'm going to have that done. That it's my right to have my nails done and my lashes and my spray
No.
tan and blah, 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 blah. You know, it's my right to have all that done. It just wasn't like that. You know, it was really tough.
But we have to admit that back then, for me, even when you offered someone a manicure, they'd look at you like you was a mad person because
Absolutely.
only rich people do
Yeah.
manicures. Why
Yeah.
would you
Yeah.
be offering that? Nowadays, every 3-5 shops is a nail shop.
Yeah, I
But,
know. Which
but
you know, I love the fact that we do look after ourselves. And the other thing I always say is, like, back when I started in my career, an anti-aging moisturizer was just a little bit thicker than a normal
yeah,
moisturizer. There was like no science behind it, you know. So actually, and I always liken it to our mobile phones. If you think back to our very first mobile phone, what we couldn't even text on our first mobile phones. Just to remind you, you couldn't even send a text. You could phone, but you couldn't send a text message. That's if you're in our era. If you're younger than that, obviously you probably could. And then, you know, what we have now, you know, we have we have the internet, you know. We used to have to go home and log on to our computers. That took half an hour to wind up to be able to check
don't
emails.
forget World Book Encyclopedia.
Yeah.
And the phone was what Del Boy had.
Yes, I know. I know. But, you know, that actually, you know, I know it was a while ago, a couple of decades ago, but that's how far we've advanced. And it's
Yeah.
the same in the beauty industry. And I have jumped on it every time. And I love being able to help people. You know, we can help people so much more than we could ever help them before. And it isn't just about, you know, doing a little bit of lifting and plumping and filling and whatever. You know, when laser hair removal came out, it changed everything. I've just gone back to it now. So I scaled my business right down to 1 day a week, which when I had my daughter, I was 42 when I had her, and I was like, I've spent 20 years looking after my clients. I now need to have a little bit of time. So I managed to, because of the industry I'm in, because of the way I am, I managed to just scale it all around and keep adapting around her timescales with nursery, then school. But I kind of realized that I, as a person, I'm sparked by innovation and new things. And I still needed that, you know. I've only got one. I always say I feel like I've got three because she's a busy one. But, you know, I still needed that for myself. I still wanted to develop. And then it became very clear as I wanted to make life changes that I wanted her to know you could still be a good mum or a good person and be there, but actually you could still have a career where you're developing yourself and your business at the same time and integrating it all in, which is really when I met the brand that I'm with New Skin, that's really what they brought to my life, for the supplements, having had a career in sports and beauty, they kind of started to converge together as I met the company. So they had the supplements, they had the scanner which measured your antioxidants on the inside, so we were measuring our immunity really. And I was like, wow, you know, I can actually help people to know if their supplements are working for them on the inside. You know, not everybody got it. And I would say because we are the only company that has this technology, yes, it's really good when you are a company that only has that technology, but also it's quite hard because people are quite skeptical and it's a little bit like, well, I've not seen that before. How do I know that's real? You know, so actually it was a very big sort of journey to go on to get it out there.
Well, I don't want to cut you. Hold that thought.
No.
Hold that thought, because I want you to rewind a little bit. Yeah, because I mean, we had a little taste of your product that you were showing at the time, which was the spa, the Lumi Spa.
Oh.
But let's go back and no one knows exactly anything. Just me and well, I know a taster. Yasmin knows everything. So I want you to rewind a little bit and tell us a little bit about that.
New Skin or the machine.
Yeah.
What, this one or this one?
No, before even all that, who is new? What do you say?
New Skin and New Skin.
Start with who is New Skin,
right. I love that. So as a company, they have been going for 42 years. When I met them, I'd never even heard of them. I saw an overview. I could see they have over 75 scientists that are PhD, developing, innovating, bringing the best from nature, like from, you know, the ingredients from nature into skincare through science to really change at a genetic level how our skin acts, so it acts more youthfully, and also how our body can react to whatever's going on and the environmental changes and everything that we cope with on a daily basis. And like Yasmin, I'd done my teaching qualifications. So I have been teaching at college for a couple of years. That was an experience, as Yasmin can probably tell you as well. It's amazing, but then, you know, it's quite tough as well. But I loved being able to bring sort of like knowledge to new people. But when we were like talking about the brands, I'd worked with a lot of very scientific brands before. And back then, you know, most brands probably have 2, 3, or 4 scientists that are developing the products. that is probably still where it is now, if I'm honest. So when I saw this brand and they said, you know, they were like, we have 75 scientists, I nearly fell off my chair. I was like, wow. And I could see that their products did exactly what they said. I was like, yeah, they are definitely great products.
Yeah,
They had
like
this,
the age lock.
yeah, they had this little device. It's called the galvanic facial spa. And this is what brought me in alongside the supplements. And Yasmin will know as well. You know, galvanic is a type of current that delivers the products into the skin a lot quicker than you could ever absorb just by massaging them on or putting them onto the skin. And it really helps with lines and wrinkles, helps with pigmentation, helps with like sort of like problem skin, helps all these different types of skin. And I was 42, 43, I think, actually, when I met New Skin. So I was starting to age myself. I had a daughter who's 18 months who she only went through the night at about 12. So, you know, she never slept through the night. I wasn't sleeping. And I was like, I really need something for my skin myself. When you are in the industry, maybe you've got a salon or anything like that, you're the last person that gets anything done. You know, you never stay at work to do yourself. It never happens. So when I saw this and I thought, wow, I want that for myself to use at home. I want it to lift. I can sit in front of the TV while my daughter's gone to bed and I can actually in 10 minutes treat my skin like I would to one of my clients. And I already had clients actually, funnily enough, as a story, just before, about a month before I was introduced to this brand, I had a client come in and she said, and we were talking 15 years ago, probably, no, 13 years ago. And she was a really nice lady. She was a bit older than me. And she just said, I want to improve my skin, lift it. I don't want any Botox fillers or anything like that. What have you got? And I was like that for the first time in my career. I had no answers for her. I was like that. I actually don't know. And then a month later, I was in a presentation and I was introduced to this device that literally did everything she said she wanted. And I was like, wow, that is so funny. That is exactly what she wants. And it's exactly what I want. Something I can just do at home. So I kind of knew instantly I was in, but also I knew it was a business that wasn't sort of bound to just being at a salon. I could do it at home.
Anywhere.
I could do it anywhere. I could do it outside, you know, and that's literally how I got started with it. We didn't have social media at that point. Well, we did have Facebook, but we weren't using it like we use it now. It's literally just for information, or should I say, I wasn't using it. I'm probably the most behind on social media ever. I wouldn't say I am now, but I was. You know, I was like, what's all that flicky thing everybody does? You know, but actually, that probably has been my biggest learning curve with social media. And actually, I really love it now because I think it's just a place where you can express yourself, you can be you can, and that's how I met Yasmin, through LinkedIn and social media. And we connect, you know,
Yes,
you can really
we
build.
met professionally.
Yeah, we did, you know, and actually we had so much in common that we would never have connected or been friends before, you know. And you launched your book. I came on your book launch, you know,
Yes, thank you very much.
yeah, so many amazing things. So social media has got a lot to be thankful for.
Yeah. And I just want to say you've also been the enrichment person for my classes as well. Don't forget
through
that.
lockdown and all that horrible time when everything had to be, you know, sort of online, Yasmin said, will you come in my group and, you know, talk about, you know, sort of skincare and all that. So it's like, of course. And that's what I did actually a few times.
And I just want to say that we've met in the flesh once.
Yes, we have actually, haven't we? I'm
Just
sure it'll
once,
happen again.
isn't it, in the flesh?
But it doesn't feel like that. And I think that's the amazing thing. So once this, I was like, that was it. I was in supplements, which ticked my box with my sports sort of side of what I did. And I've always pretty much looked after myself. And then I think having my daughter at 42, I realized I want to be around as long as possible for her. You know, if she has children, I'm going to be a lot older. So I just wanted to make sure. So I've always kind of been on that journey as well. And then actually, since that, you know, when we talk about innovation as a company, that is what they're all about. And they're already working on things we don't even know we need until they launch them. And then we go, how did we ever live without them? Is normally what happens. So we
Yeah.
went from this, which is like having a nice face at the salon. And then probably nearly 9 years ago, they launched this. It's called the LumiSpa. It's a
Can't
cleansing
live without
device.
your Lumi Spa.
I know, and Yasmin has one. And honestly, if you use an electric toothbrush, which I think most people generally do, how amazing your teeth feel. Well, we have done for the cleansing our skin what the electric toothbrush has done for cleaning our teeth. You know, it has 7 skin benefits, makes your skin feel fantastic. But it really does help promote that luminosity, which is why it's called the LumiSpa, actually. And then we launched another device as well, which I haven't actually got this on my multiple desk here with lots of things going on, which you can't see, but you could probably see.
The thing
I
that
went like that.
the thing that's UK Fluffy Chicken, I know about your devices, whether it's the galvanic. I think she's even bought the toothpaste, you know, the Lumi Spa. Well, I've got the Lumi Spa and all this sort of thing. But I think UK Fluffy Chick was really interested in the scanner for the antioxidants.
I was saving that. I was saving that because
Oh,
I
sorry.
knew that was. Go
yeah.
on then, Beverly.
No, not yet. Look how comfortable I've got. I'm waiting here. So just honestly.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you, Samantha.
Yeah, and I,
right. So you've got,
you got your galvanic,
yeah,
and the LumiSpa. So you said supplements. What kind of supplements are you talking about?
Excellent.
Well, that's interesting. So originally we started out with the Life Pack, which is a multivitamin, and our Marine Omega, which are always really essential for absorption. I just found out today, actually, there's loads of new studies about Marine Omega, and I didn't know this, but it's very, very good for gut health, for sort of like any Crohn's and all that kind of sort of things that really plague a lot of people, like irritable bowel, bloating. I didn't actually know marine omega or omega oils were really good for that, but there's a lot of new studies. There's so many new studies coming out about supplements now. It's a massive industry, huge industry that's very unregulated. Most supplements, they're not all equal. So you could have, whereas they're all very standardized through they have a very strict process. So a lot of supplements you do buy, not even all of them maybe in the pack are the same strength or efficacy or contain the same amount of ingredients in there. So it's a really tricky industry. Obviously, we don't really know. Yeah, and this is the bit that struck me. How do we know if our supplements are working for us? And that was when I met the company 12 years ago. We had this device, which, well, one before this one actually, is called the biophotonic scanner. You pop your hand on it and it measures your antioxidants through a light beam that goes into your hand, which then picks up the carotenoids, which are like the live tissue in our skin, and it actually measures our antioxidants. So I actually, in the last 2 years, have done a lot of wellness talks around antioxidants, collagen, supplements, how it works in the body, because it is all about absorption. Is it getting down to the cells? Is it actually doing what we need it to do? Which is a huge subject.
Does collagen come under supplements, or is it a separate?
No, it does come under supplements. This is our collagen. It comes in a sachet. And the only reason that you might think that it might not is because I've talked literally for 2 years about collagen. That's literally all I've talked about, and about scanning. So why I would say, one, apart from seeing if you're, where you are with your immunity, but actually with our supplements, we have 4 supplements that are what we call scanner certified. So you get a score, you go onto the products for 3 months. If your score doesn't increase, you get a money back guarantee from the company. We've had that for years. So when I joined the company, I was like, wow, I need to work with this. What, Beverly? Am I allowed to move on to it now, Beverly? Are we allowed to do the showstopper?
Making sure you covered everything else, because I don't want nothing else to interfere with this one.
Okay, before you go on to it,
can I just ask one question? So, strange me walking into Holland and Barrett then, which is surrounded by all these supplements, would we say, oh, where do I start from here?
I know. I do. I know. And it is hard. It is really, and it's hard in the beauty industry, with all the beauty products. I get it all, and I still find it hard, and that's the bit. It is really difficult. And that is where we are now moving into a new era with technology, data, analysis. We are closer than ever to really being able to hone that down to what we actually individually and personally need. Whereas before, and even now, we'll be watching or looking, we have so much information. We are information overload, really.
Anita, I think in the last 3 years, I might have sent you a link just to scan your face so that you can know what you actually need for your face. Sorry, I'm laughing as I say it, because I do know what your skincare routine is. But yeah, so I have sent that out to people like Anita in the past, and it's part of the AI that New Skin has made available to us, isn't it? From the antioxidant to the face scanner.
Yeah.
But I think I might get the link off of Samantha again, so that you can actually experience that.
Yeah. And that is
sorry. No, go ahead.
And that's where, they've moved. They've always been a company where they're always moving forward. They're always looking at what else can we do. So we do have the skin scanner. I mean, there's so much. We have a app with a skin scanner where you can just literally, you just take your phone and you put it, obviously go onto the app, and it takes a photo of your face, and it does like over 3,000 data points, and it will analyze your skin, your hydration. It will tell you what you need. It will make product recommendations on your skin from the app, from our catalog. And that is really powerful. That's personalizing your skincare. And we're also doing that more in our with our supplement side as well, which is a massive industry. And that's why I'm still so passionate about what we have. We launched our collagen actually 4 years ago. And prior, just as a little story, I know time's going on a little bit. As you know, I've got a sports background, so I do exactly what I'm told when I'm told to do it. I've always been like that. And surprisingly, 4.5 years ago, I had to have a hip replacement. I don't know how I wore that out at all. I have no idea. But anyway,
something to do with karate, I think.
It's nothing to do with what I did or running or anything like that. But anyway, I had a full hip replacement 4.5 years ago. And prior to that, we didn't have our collagen. We hadn't launched it. I didn't even really know that much about collagen supplements. Was hearing about them. And then I had my hip replacement. The joint was amazing, but I'd had muscle loss, and I still had quite a lot of irritation. I didn't have the strength in my muscles. I was seeing an osteopath. After 6 months of having my hip, like my joint was great, but I'm still getting irritation in the muscles and the hip flexors. And she just said, you're probably at your level now. It's not going to get any better. It was better than what I had, but I was still a bit disappointed about the strength because I was doing all my exercises. We launched our collagen and I thought, right, this is really going to put it to the test. So I started taking the collagen, and then I had my appointment with my osteopath 6 weeks later. And honestly, during that 6 weeks, my inflammation, my irritation had gone. When I went in to see my osteopath, I couldn't wait to see. I was going, hey, look at me, my hip, my leg's fine. I'm not getting any of that anymore. I can lift it. And she did my appointment as normal. She said, you have no stress going through your body at all. I don't need to see you again. And I literally walked out. I was like that. Right. And I haven't seen her for 4 years. And that was 6 weeks of adding in the collagen. And I kind of walked out. And I was honestly like, wow, I need to take this out and tell people why they need collagen. Because during the last kind of maybe 6 years or so of information overload, we kind of hear about all these things, but why do we need it? And actually we've all shifted into, I will buy that, I will have that, but I want to know, why do I need it? Do I need it? And is it working for me?
And which one to get, because there's so many collagen, you don't know which.
I know.
And that's what Anita was alluding to.
Which is absolutely what Anita's point is. You go in and what do I need? And that is the thing. And that's why I've really made education more now my thing. I talk about in my product group on social media, because people will come to you if they want to know, actually, okay, I understand more about now what you're saying, because it was so important to me to know why I'd had such quick changes, because otherwise I probably was thinking everybody was getting that on whatever collagen they were having. But they don't, and they're not, and and that's where the company come in with their scientists. They have a very strict 6-step process on their all of their ingredients, actually, across all of their product range, from the beauty to the supplement side, because they have a lot of high tech equipment. They send their own scientists in when they cultivate and they get their ingredients. Each batch is tested for insecticides, pesticides, metals, whatever it is, efficacy. Is it the right part of the plant? Is it effective once we've cultivated to it's actually getting in the product? Is each product the ingredient, is each tablet the same? All of that is tested, and that's what we pay for, and that's why we're paying more to know of the science and the efficacy and the ingredients that you are most likely to get these results.
So basically, your new skin is their innovation has brought all the things that you could before only get in a salon environment. Now you can move. It's more mobile and handheld devices rather than so okay, and available to the the normal
UK
man.
fluffy chick. I am so impressed.
I know.
Look,
She's
look.
been working herself up to this. I knew she was because I could tell
Yeah.
she was asking questions.
Yeah,
Most definitely.
So then what happened was they were like, obviously we had this scanner. You had to be a scanner operator. You had to go and see one. They went, what if we can bring this into the house, into people's homes? And you know what? I like, and it does make me feel a little bit emotional. Steve Jobs, who developed Apple, you know, we all know Apple. He obviously he died way too early, but he was such an innovator. His vision when he started Apple was to get a computer in every home. And it's hard to believe we didn't have a computer in every home. They were only in workplaces. That was his vision. Oh my goodness. You know, and he was only in his 50s when he died, which is such a shame. But that was his vision. And I've actually got a Steve Jobs up on my whiteboard here, a little one of his quotes up there, actually, because I think he was such a innovator of his time. But what New Skin wanted to do was bring the scanner into the home. And we are still in pre-launch phase, actually. We now have what we have from that and more in this handheld device that fits into literally the palm of your hand that will give you your score actually on your phone. I haven't linked it to my phone. You can link it to your phone, but this is literally showing it on here.
So what is this, an upgrade to the antioxidant scanner?
Yes,
That little thing in your feet.
Yes,
wow.
Yes.
So you can have your own at home.
To save it till last. Go on, sorry.
So what we are actually, I'm going to scan myself here. Actually, what we are doing, I'm going to take my finger off and redo it. We are creating healthy households with healthy habits. So I am actually doing a live scan now. So this is actually changing habits. This is all about putting the good stuff into our bodies, our antioxidants, our fruits, our vegetables, you know, our 610, that is my score. We want to be up and as high in the blue and purple as possible.
Lord, mine is not going to be in red.
Do you know what? I would say
looks like a credit card score.
Red, orange, and yellow, you know. And this is all about putting enough of the good stuff in, you know, on a daily basis. But we have such a lack of nutrition in our food now. You know, even if we're eating fruit and veg, you know, it's not enough. And that's why supplements now, more than ever, are really important. But what has been brilliant about this as well, it's not just about me, it's about my daughter or my family. You know, she now scans herself every morning, and it does make you start to make healthier choices. Even myself, even though I've had one of these for like 10 years, I could scan myself every day if I wanted to. I didn't, you know, it was probably like once a month.
We just don't, do we?
But literally, this does make you think, oh, actually, on the days where I'm higher, I do feel better, you know. And it isn't just about what you're putting in, it's about your sleep, you know, getting enough sleep. It's about moving, it's about getting some exercise. And, you know, it's about the food we're putting in. And it's about bridging those gaps with supplements that are standardized, that are scientific, that are going to absorb. You know, we have a different price, you know, we have a whole price range of products. We have an amazing product, and I go on about it all the time, not just the collagen that you know, sometimes you go on about something and you feel like nobody's listening. I have this most amazing product called
I've been there.
Tea Green. Tea Green, and it is a green tea capsule, and it's hand cultivated at the right time of the day, has the highest amount of polyphenols, which are antioxidants. And I think it's really well priced. It's really good for bloating, digestion, immune. It's good for energy levels. It's good for hair. It's good for nail. It's an amazing starting product we have. We have a lot of doctors and PTs and clinics now that actually work with our brand that weren't working with our brand before. which is quite interesting because I think they've really realized what the philosophy behind the brand is, how innovative they are. And now we have this scanner as well. Beverly, if you want one next month, you can get your own. And you know, from that all the way through, and actually a lot of the studies coming through with green tea now, it's very, we are streaming live. It has some clinical studies that are showing it's very, very good at protecting the cells. It's a bit like a connector. So taking the tea green, it's very, very good. Valerie, you're next. I'll stop talking in a minute and you're next for some questions. Was it Valerie? Yeah. Was it? I don't know who's asking the question. But it helps to connect with others. So it brings them all together. It's a very complex system, the whole antioxidant thing. But it's just fascinating. I find it fascinating. And I would say when you get somebody on their health journey and they start down in the red and they start to work up and they're coming up here, once they start to feel and get that feel good factor, then it starts to make more sense about why we need to fuel our bodies properly and how we can track it. And that's what this is all about. It's a nutritional habit tracker, basically.
Okay, go for it, people, with your questions before I come with mine.
Well, everyone's quite quiet. I've sent out the message asking, saying that we're coming up to question time. Jennifer is admiring your hair, UK fluffy chick. She's saying it's looking great. So, yeah. Valerie, I can't actually see a question from Valerie. I've just been through the chat sort of thing. Hello, Donna. Jennifer. Yeah, I've mentioned Jennifer. Denise is very quiet. Valerie Lee.
I mean, it's gonna keep quiet. You want to hear? You don't want to miss a thing.
Robel, thank you for coming back in. I see that you ended up popping out and then had to come back. So this is your opportunity to ask Samantha a question. Actually, let me see if I've got anything else here.
We have got somebody's hand raised here.
Oh, there's a Zoom user. That must be, I believe that's Keddy. Do you want to take your mic off and ask your question?
Yes, I want to know if I can buy the products from Samantha.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Yasmin, actually Yasmin can connect us anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kitty is in the US.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's fine as well. Yes, no problem. We are. In fact, New Skin are founded from the US, but yes, no problem at all.
Excellent.
Any other questions, anyone? Because I'm itching.
I can't imagine why you are itching. The collagen. I just want to add to what Samantha said. I was taking and am taking the collagen supplements, and what my marked difference that I noticed was that I don't heal as I've been growing up. I don't heal as fast as I used to. So especially as probably some of you know that I do the roller skating and that, so I get loads of scratches and whatever, and they take ages to heal. But since I started to take the collagen supplements, I heal much faster than I would normally do. So, and Samantha's talking a lot about the AI, the antioxidant scanner. I've brought in the face scanner and this sort of thing, but there are also products. And, it's taken me this long, Samantha, to realize that age lock is about...
It's locking in your age.
It's locking in the age.
It is.
There's a product. There's a group of products called Age Lock. All right, so that she's not... New Skin, Samantha, has so many products, supplements, and AI that can actually help you in your what we call it, beauty
journey.
regime. Journey, yes.
Journey.
So,
go on, Beverly.
Yeah. Should I put my hands up?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So my question is, like, if you're someone who's not done anything out of the ordinary in terms of your well-being inside and out, other than, have your shower and wash your face and put some oil of Olay, oil of Ulay on your skin, right? Where do we start? How would you recommend? All right, now this is what you do to start you off, and so that when we go on that scanner thing, now we're not like way below. We're at least, we can see improvement. All right, that was my question.
I love that. And that is an amazing question, Beverly. I'm so glad you asked. So my advice always is, we have a two-pronged approach, really. I would always say now, start with the LumiSpa, because when we're cleansing our skin the best way we can, we are preparing our skin. We're removing all the daily dirt, the oils, the environmental factors, all of that off the skin. And we're doing that with the LumiSpa, which has it oscillates a little bit. It's like your electric toothbrush. So it's not a microcurrent, so everyone can use it. It comes with a cleanser. So you wet your face, you would apply the cleanser just really simply, and then you press the button and it vibrates, and you literally will just pass it over your skin. So it's doing the work for you like your electric toothbrush would. And you can do it once or twice a day. You'll probably start with once a day, then you'll get addicted, love how it feels, and then you'll start doing it in the morning and evening. And it really helps to deep cleanse the skin. You can't manually cleanse your skin like you can with the LumiSpa. It's actually clinically proven to help to reduce pore size, increase luminosity. It helps with lines and wrinkles. But what it really helps is it helps to remove the lymphatic, so it helps with drainage. It helps with detoxing, depuffing. So your skin, you feel like you've had a little gym session. It just really...
And you're exfoliated as well.
Yeah, exfoliating has 7 skin benefits when you're using it. It's actually waterproof, so you can use it in the shower, in the bath. And it's clinically proven to increase the collagen in the skin by the action, how it moves over the skin. So if you never use any other products within our skincare range, always use the cleanser that goes with the LumiSpa, because it's in the right viscosity and thickness to move over the skin without disrupting the natural biome. So that's the first step, hitting it on the outside. And actually, if we're cleansing our skin properly and effectively, everything else we're going to use after that, you're going to have more benefit from. So it's a win-win with the LumiSpa. And then if we're looking on the inside, I would say pair it with the collagen, because this has so many benefits in the body. We are 80% collagen in the body, and we start to lose collagen production from the age of 25. After the menopause, we're like 30%. Thank you, Donna. It's been lovely of you to join.
Thanks, Donna. Bye.
So actually, and we have clinical trials. So actually using these two together, we're hitting the inside and the outside, but actually we're getting 65% more collagen to the skin, taking the actual collagen supplement, and then pairing it with a LumiSpa. You're really going Yasmin, actually, you've got some great before and afters of these two, I think, together.
Yes, I have. Yes, the toothpaste, the collagen, the LumiSpa are my regular products and treatments.
Because you can use it on the neck as well. But
I just want to take this opportunity, Samantha, just to say that I looked back on your old videos.
Oh yeah.
I'm looking at you now. you've actually become like 10 years younger.
Have I? I love
Yes,
that.
definitely.
Thank you.
You know, in comparison to what you were when we started 4 or 5 years ago,
Yeah.
you know, just by using the products and everything,
Yeah.
can see the definition in your face, your skin looks all glowy. You
Well,
know.
do you know what? It's interesting. I was actually at an aesthetics a clinic. They have our supplements. They don't have our skincare. They have our supplements. They had this fancy scanner, even though we've got our scanner. They had this fancy one, and this young girl. This is a story just between us. She was 22 and she's been having all the injectables ever since she was 19. I was like, ah, right, okay. I'm 56, by the way, and they had this big fancy scanner. They were like, oh, let's scan you. I thought, yeah, brilliant. I'm quite up for anything like that. She scanned me and she went, oh my goodness. I was thinking, oh my God, I knew it was going to be bad. She said, your skin has the highest hydration I've ever seen on anybody I've scanned. And she said, most people scan about 15, 16%. Mine was 33%. And I was like that. Oh, wow. That's because I've got good skincare. But it really, really did shock me because you know how you kind of think these clinicky places have it all. Honestly, she said, I've never scanned anybody so high. And I thought, you know what? I don't overcomplicate it. I know my products are good. I do work on my hydration on my skin, and it really does have a good effect. That would be the one thing.
Okay. Well, Jennifer has just completed her skincare routine while she's been watching us because she's
I love that.
a girl. And Keddy's asking whether she can get the products from you, but we've answered that question already.
Yasmin, you know, we work together, but Yasmin will connect us together. And anybody who wants to have a one-to-one Zoom, you know, we can have a really good look at what you're doing, what you need, what will work for you. Even if you're in America, we can still do that as well.
Yeah,
it's no problem.
Okay, so now we're coming up to the last little segment. Although I could go on all night because I really enjoying. I like knowledge, so I do like information about things. So that's why I'm kind of enthused and kind of So going back to our core questions, the last couple of questions. So the next thing is, so we know where you're coming from with how you got into the beauty in the beginning. We know where you are at the moment in terms of having all these mobile devices and being an ambassador, if you like, of these devices and supplements and products. Where is Samantha Tarr star twinkling in the future?
Well, that's an interesting one. Do you know what? I feel like I've never been more aligned in my business as I am now, because just to let you know, the innovation, this isn't only going to be tracking just our antioxidants. They're already working on how can we, and being able to track about 9 different functions in our body and bring us solutions. So for me, it's just getting out and sharing this with as many people. I work with a lot of more professionals now than I did before. You know, we've got doctors and PTs and sports clubs and football and wellness clinics. They're all coming on board. So for me, it's just helping as many people to connect with as many people to bring healthy households. And that's really where my passion and love lies, really.
Okay. But I just had, I don't know, just clocked in my life, just like how, you know, you brought up the analogy of the mobile phone and the progression of the phone and the progression of body scanning. And I'm just thinking just how they have updates and upgrades and all these things, they probably won't be able to apply all of that to those kind of devices.
Well, look at the difference with the two antioxidants machines, you know, that huge one, which I remember at the shows.
I know.
And now look at that little hand one.
I know, it's amazing. It's incredible.
And like Anita said, when we're looking at it on the phone, it looks like the your credit score.
I know.
It's your health credit score.
It's your nutritional.
That's it, your nutritional credit score.
I love that.
So if you was to give some advice to the baby star Samantha Tarr,
yeah,
what would that advice be?
I have written it down. I wrote this earlier, so I've put. Actually, I'm just going to read it. Hand on heart. Please don't worry about what other people think of you, as they are far too busy worrying about themselves. Do you want me to say that again?
Amazing. Yes. Go for it again.
So my advice to my younger self is, please don't worry about what other people are thinking about you, because they are far too busy worrying about themselves.
Oh, thank you very much. And this is what we don't realize in our youth. We're so busy worried about what other people think of us and, should we do this and all that sort of thing. That's a wonderful advice.
That is probably my biggest advice.
Okay. Samantha, this one, each week I say that to the guests that we have. This has been amazing. And it's like, but no, I feel very educated.
Thank you.
Kind of giving, because I am working on my well-being now that I'm approaching my couple of years up to my 60, and it's really honing in that 60. I want to be fantabulous at 60.
Well, the whole age group thing's changed, hasn't it? We are fabulous at 60. I'm 56, so I'm thinking, oh yeah, I can see myself heading that way. And it's a new era, completely new era now we're living in, and we just got to make the most of it. Absolutely got to make the most of it.
Fantastic. So thanks again for joining us again to update us on what you're doing. And
thank you.
I'm always inspired, and thank you for being, you have to say, our cheerleader from ever since. You've always
from day one,
supported us from day dot, and I really, really appreciate you, and everyone that's in the meeting today. I appreciate you spending the time with us and getting to know. Everyone should be educated now, going on to their well-being journey. At least we now have a little stepping stone and a little insight as to what to focus on as a starting point. Because like Anita said, you go into all these health places, there's so much.
You don't know what
it is.
Overloaded, just think, you know what, forget it, and just stick to it, but
it is, and I agree. I have got a Facebook group. It's called Beauty and Wellness Circle. So if anybody, Yasmin's got all the links. If anybody wants to join, I do lots of sort of like talks and information. I do a lot about hair loss in there as well, actually. That's a massive subject at the moment. So that's something I've been talking a lot about. But please reach out. More than happy to help people with anything.
Thank you.
Thank you, Anita.
The replay of all these meetings is on. We post them on YouTube. So if there's anything that you wanted to go back to and look at it again, and in the description of the videos, we put the links and more information as to how.
We'll have Samantha's links as well. Her Facebook link and everything.
So that's on our Support a Sis-Star YouTube channel. And if you're a Facebook user, join the group. Support a Sis-Star network. That's our networking community Facebook group. So join that. We're still working on the Instagram updating and stuff like that, but we have an Instagram.
No comment.
If you want to join us as a guest, you can email us at sisstarnetwork@gmail.com. And also, is anything else I've forgotten? No. That's it.
No, you're all put together. Thank you very much.
I thought this chat, because she's the beauty therapist of the duo, I thought I'm going to
Who's she? Who are you calling? Who are you calling she?
The cat's mum.
You know what? I did think Yasmin. I thought, Yasmin will be taking the lead tonight for sure.
No, but Samantha, you got to appreciate that I call on you to represent me in my classes. So there's nothing that I need to ask you.
Do you know what? Beverly has been so engaging recently. I knew she was going to go out the way, Yasmin. I'm in.
Exactly. That as well.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, everybody. It's been an absolute joy. And I'll see you next week for the next speaker.
So next week we have we have Tracy. She's a therapist, and she's going to be talking about your relationship with food behaviors, and
interesting.
So that's
brilliant.
That's going to be another interesting one. So 7 a.m., 7 p.m. again next week, Wednesday. We're here. And
brilliant.
Thank you, everyone. That's a wrap.
All right. Bye. Thank you. All right. Bye.
Bye. Bye. Thank you, everybody.